now we have to learn how to talk about our distributions. So we need to figure out what words help us describe it. So in any graph, we want to look for the overall pattern and then striking deviations from that pattern. Whenever we describe data in this class, you need to describe the shape, center, and spread. It's also important to include any outliers or anything that's weird. So this is a short way to remember it by using the word socks. Notice that there's two C's. It's shape, center, spread, outliers, and you want to make sure that it's in context. So those are the two C's. So we'll talk about each of these as we go along. But context is we just want to write it in the context of the problem using the real world terminology that they have. Now, this is kind of misleading, uh, but when we talk about shapes, if it has two peaks, feel free to say it's bimodal, but this is a less common uh, way to describe shape. Usually when we look at shape, we'll want to look at this. Is it symmetric, skewed to the left, and skewed to the right? And when we talk about skewing, uh, the left and right tell us where the tail is. So skewed left is like saying tailed left. Skewed right means where it's tailed to the right. So if you want to use the word tailed to help you remember that's where the little tail is, go ahead and do it. But these are what we'll mainly look for when we're going to describe the shape. Then the center, it's the middle numbers, whether it be mean or median. Pick the one that makes sense, whether it's skewed or symmetric. And then spread, it's how close together the data is. So we talked about standard deviation, variance, 5-number summary. Those are the common things. Now, outliers should be looked at with suspicion. Sometimes an outlier is in the data set just because they mislabeled it. And other times, uh, you should, it's an actual data point. So you just have to, whenever you get an outlier, look and see if it's there for a good reason. And when in our outliers category, when describing data, we could also include anything unusual, such as gaps or clusters in the data. Anything that you look at the data and say, oh, that's weird, include that in your outlier section. So if I'm going to describe this data, first off, it's the number of letters in a word. So to get to write in context, we started to say the number of letters, the number of letters in a word are skewed to the right, because that's where the tail is. With the center, now this is skewed. If we had all the data, we could find the median, but I'd say the median would be somewhere around 4, 3 or 4. So with the center around uh, 3 to 4, and we could use 5-number summary if we had all the data points, but we don't. So let's just do range. So range is 12 minus 1. So the range is 11. So there's no outliers, and if there's no outliers, we don't need to bring it up. Uh, but if we take a look at this, we have a context, we have it skewed to the right, and we have the center and the spread. So we're good. So I want to see if you could describe this distribution. Good luck.